there was a pro-inclusivity poster that was actually put up in UIT Durham College, and it's actually not too far away from my old neighborhood. And one of the people that's actually on there, Matt Wigmore, is a person I knew in high school and somebody that I do know. So when I actually read it, I was actually a little bit shocked. And for those who will be watching us on YouTube, they'll be able to see the notes here, because the post actually says, becoming aware of privilege, burden or source of guilt, but rather an opportunity to learn or be responsible so that we may work towards a more just and inclusive world. Now, if you hear that, not that bad. It's a little bit it alienates somebody, obviously, but then where it gets rowdy, in my personal opinion, is like, check your privilege, and then they go on to define privilege, and then they just go on a list of, if you're able-bodied physically or mentally, access to education, Christian, cisgender, heterosexual, male, native English speaker, Canadian citizen at birth, white. Like, I've seen there just like, as much as I understand what they're trying to do, it's the wrong way to go about it, personally, and I automatically have to blaze it. Because if you go out and tell people to check your privilege, first of all, some people aren't aware of their privilege. And now it's just like, you know what? Now I might use it. Because now it feels like they're being attacked. No, like, think about it. If anybody's, it's like, we're in the wild of society. Let's be honest, okay? We're in the jungle. We're in the concrete jungle. If now I've been made aware that I'm a tiger, I'm going to be a tiger. Period. And second thing I want to say is, it's like, aren't we supposed to be promoting inclusivity? So even these people who are privileged, in order for them to then not oppress other people, shouldn't we be making them part of the larger group?
I disagree with you on several points that you just made, because, okay, first, how are we defining privilege? Privilege is unearned benefits, right? It's things that people are just kind of given, things that people are praised for. And so I think I'm going to have to praise it, because, like, the poster allows folks to really dig in deep as to what privilege means. So there's cisgender there's white, there's able-bodied. These are all signs of privilege in our society. And I think when I first saw that poster, I thought, this is such a great exercise to understand where my privilege lies and how I can be a part of creating an inclusive environment by understanding my relationality to other people.
Okay. Like, I do approve of that point. I understand that point.
Yeah.
But my thing is, especially if you see the picture, it almost alienates the people who have this. Like, I never thought that I was above anybody who wasn't able-bodied in a certain way. But then suddenly it made me just aware that, like, apparently I think I'm better than them, and I'm like, but I'm not. I've never thought that.
But like, Rudy, that is your privilege. The fact that you've never had to think about that.
Okay.
So even when we see buildings that don't have an accessible a way to get up the stairs, the elevator doesn't work, right?
No, to be honest, I get upset about that. That's one thing I don't vibe with. Every building should have ramp, whatever. Yeah, obviously for people who are in need of that, and sometimes you're in pain. Sometimes I would have problems with my knees, or like I can't walk upstairs that day. And I would be like, and I'd be upset. Like, I think I've sent a complaint once. One of the
elevators weren't working.
Elevators weren't working, and I sent up a complaint. I was just like, I don't care if I'm able-bodied. This is wrong for anybody who is in need of it.
No, real.
This is where I'm saying, I'm like, this promotes inclusivity, but also I'm just saying, because I read the part where I'm the person that I do know, the Matt Wigmore guy, and he was like, I never, like, he's like, in the case where he's like, I never meant to alienate anybody. Like, I wasn't doing it. Like, if I was, he obviously apologized. And he also said that the part that he felt almost wrong is almost like he felt like he only got to go to UIT, which is a very good science and whatever school, engineering school, and gone to a very exclusive nuclear engineering program. It was almost like they made him feel like he only got in because he was most of these things. And that's where...
Which could be accurate. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's intention versus impact, intention and impact. Like, we don't mean to intend to exclude anybody, but I argue by not checking our own privileges, by not recognizing that because I am a woman, because I am a pretty woman, because I am a smart woman who attends U of T, that means a whole host of privileges that somebody who doesn't go to U of T, somebody who isn't beautiful...
Hey, listen. Okay, for people who are going to UFT, okay, it's not that
Rudy,
many
what?
privileges.
Rudy,
Okay,
what?
let's
Rudy?
chill about these
Rudy,
UFT
are you
privileges.
kidding me? UFT is like a school people recognize. So whether or not you're having a good time here, understand that when you write down on your application University of Toronto, that means something huge.
No, I get that because other parts of my resume, I have big names on there, and I sometimes like
wow. Do you want to get Rudy?
No. Hey, okay, I'm not trying to splash around some privilege here, but like I actually have to
you're
work.
splashing. It's happening.
Okay, sorry. No, but like let's say you say that you worked for a huge law firm, whatever. That's you. Obviously, you worked to get into that job. You got that job. Yeah. Now you have that name on there. Is that privilege now?
Okay, well, first of all, that's a very broad example. Like,
well, because it's the same thing for having UFT.
Well, yeah, okay. So if we're talking talking about names, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because if I say if I get a job at TD,
yep,
TD's on there, and if I go basically anywhere in Canada, they'll look at you differently because you worked an X amount of time at TD.
I agree with you.
Exactly, and then same thing for UFT.
Same thing for UFT. Yes,
it's just big name branding. It's nothing else. Okay, so for me.
What do you mean by nothing else? Like, big name branding is something. Like,
okay, the Nike shoe is super important, but it wouldn't mean anything if you didn't have LeBron and Serena Williams.
Also very real. So privilege is also contextual.
Okay, so now privilege has levels that we didn't know. So now I admit it, I am officially privileged.
You are, Rudy. You are. Acknowledge it. And there's ways that you are oppressed, but there's ways that you are privileged.
No, I'm oppressed by the school. That's what actually number one. My oppression starts at UFT. Like I never felt oppressed or knew what oppression was until I came here.
What are you saying? What's going on with you?
I've had a rough couple of years here. Okay, I'm tired.
You know what? Real.
Like,
it's been
UFT is a system of oppression. Like I sat down, like they taught me oppression. They taught me what it was, and they executed it on my life, for real, no questions. Like I seriously have real beef with the school. But yeah, so. You're still gonna praise it. I'm gonna maintain my blaze just for the sake of it now.
Laughing so hard. I praise it. Anyone who sees this will know that it needs to be praised.
It needs to be praised, but I'm just mean they could have also done it in a little bit.
Rudy, I think you need to be introspective. You need to be introspective and recognize your privilege.
No,
I think you're shook because the poster reminded you of things that you need to check up with yourself.
Okay. It reminded me that I need. Yeah, there's certain things obviously you need to check, but at the same time, like I've never thought that like religion really played that much of a factor. Only because I've actually heard of people being turned down for being Christian in certain workplaces. So for me, when I heard Christian, I was just like, in 2018, like sometimes the best motive is to say you don't go to church. Like you don't go to church, you don't go to a mosque. Mm-hmm. You're just on Sundays or the days that you're supposed to do, be in connection with whoever you praise to. Mm-hmm. It's better to just say you were watching television, because if not, because I've literally heard that.
Yeah.
No question.
Which is so real, but religion is one of those things that it's like I can't even. The ways that Muslim women who wear hijabs are treated as opposed to Muslim women who don't wear hijabs, like it's
completely separate.
The discrepancy is huge, right? And there's so much privilege. Like I've heard from my Muslim friends, my Muslim sister woman friends, who've said like there's so much privilege that comes without wearing it in our society just because you don't look visibly Muslim, right? And that's a privilege that religion is one of those. One thing I just want to say is that we should never play oppression Olympics, and by that I mean like, oh well, you're not able-bodied, well I'm this or that, because the minute we start comparing pain, nobody's in pain.
Okay, that's true. I'm not even gonna fight that.
Don't fight it, Rudy, honestly.
But you know what, I'm happy to have a little bit of privilege. I'm not gonna lie.
Own it.
Like people forever be trying to take other things from people. I will take my privilege and run away with it, but I will help everybody else on the way.
Yes, I was gonna say do that. Reach back.
No. Like I'm always for reaching back. Talking about reaching back.